Hey YouTube family, Auntie is here. I'm Patty Jackson. I am your auntie of pop culture. It's time for the curls, it's time for the scoop, and you know how we do. We start with a hug. How you guys doing? This blind side story with the football player Michael Oher and the white parents, the Tuohys, they're starting to fire back. They said in a statement that Michael tried to shake them down for money to the tune of $15 million. He claims that they owe him money because they never adopted him. They went on to make millions, which the Tuohys claim they made from their restaurant business, not from The Blind Side and the movie and the whole thing. Michael Oher is on a book tour and he is telling his truth. The Tuohys are starting to fight back. 2009, that movie, Sandra Bullock, she won an Academy Award. It was a nice, heartwarming story. These white parents take in this young black kid and he goes on to the NFL, but his NFL career wasn't great. So he's obviously needing money. I guess he figures he could get it this way. The Tuohys, the parents, are saying we're not to blame. There's a lot of murkiness. It gets nastier and nastier every day with their statements. This whole thing about being in a conservatorship, and they say he's still in it. We have a full-grown man. Well, Britney was a full-grown woman, Britney Spears, but I don't know how quite that, when do you get out of that conservatorship, but the back and forth between the two is getting nasty. In a recent interview, and I want to know your comments, Michael Bivins said that Bobby Brown should have never been kicked out of New Edition. It was 1985. He said Bobby was too young to be kicked out. Now, believe it or not, I know he don't look it, but he is the youngest of the New Edition guys. Bobby is the youngest. He's just lived. I disagree with Michael Bivins, and I'm going to tell you why. Had he not been kicked out of New Edition, he would have never have gone on to have the spectacular solo career. I think people forget, because you just think the craziness. He was the man. I'll never forget, me and my girlfriend's going to see Ghostbusters in the late 80s, and Bobby Brown had a small role. He came on that screen, everybody was screaming and hollering. Bobby Brown was that guy. He was that dude. He really was the king of R&B in the late 80s. Sometimes rejection or a no can be a blessing. I know many people may have gotten fired from jobs. You're thinking, oh, this is the worst thing that could have ever happened. But a new door is going to open and you're going to walk through it. When you look at your life and where you are and things that have happened, as we get older, when you're 30, you're not the same person you were at 20. When you're at 40, you're not the same person that you were at 30. When you're at 50, it goes because you change. Life happens and you grow and you change. I know some people never get the memo. They just stay stuck. But think about it. Really, every 10 years of your life, you grow. You grow even more, and you're not that person that you were years ago. Could you imagine being with somebody that may have dumped you in the 80s? And you're thinking, if you were with them now, because you've gone on with your life. I always say, a no, it's a protection. It's a protection from God. I know it's not always a bad thing. Yes, it hurts and our ego is hurt and we're like, why? And rejection hurts. Nobody wants to walk around and be rejected. But something better is going to happen. And for you to get from point A to point C, sometimes you got to take that rejection in the middle. Bobby Brown would have never had been the Bobby Brown, that great solo career. I think about when Prince fired Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They were devastated. They were like, he done kicked us out the group. Well, Prince kicked him out, and they wound up getting to the company of the man Clarence Avant, the Black Godfather, the music mogul, entertainment mogul that I was talking about earlier this week. He just passed away. Well, he welcomed Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis with open arms. Set up Taboo Records, the SOS Band, Alexander O'Neal and Sherelle, of course, their success with Janet Jackson, many other artists. That wouldn't have happened had Prince not kicked them out. He was supposed to kick them out. It hurt. It hurt. But not even Prince thought that those guys would blow up, and they did, in spite of getting kicked out. So when Michael Bivins said that, I say all that to say this. When Michael Bivins said that, I thought it was funny because I said he would have never had gone on to the successful career that he had. It was just like Michael Bivins, Ronnie DeVoe, Ricky Bell. They were supposed to splinter off to Bell Biv DeVoe. Look what they gave us. Poison. Things happen in life for a reason. And sometimes kicking out or rejection can be the best thing. Fast and Furious fans, it's coming to the Peacock September 15th. And Amy Robach, she is disputing reports that she's taken a job at News Nation, getting paid $1 million a year for a show, a weekly show called Robach and Company. They say that she is waiting for the right opportunity. She is 50 years old. Ageism is real. Unless she creates it herself, I don't know what opportunity. I think she doesn't want to do a job or do anything without TJ Holmes. I don't know how that would work, but it seems like she wants to hold out for him. And if they have money, they can make those kinds of decisions right now. But I don't see the top 3 networks because she's already been at NBC, ABC. Will CBS hire her? Will CNN hire her? It's going to be interesting, but they're saying she's waiting for the right opportunity. I got to shout out Lionel Richie. Now, y'all know I told y'all, I've told this story. It's going to be in the book. I've interviewed Lionel Richie 100 times. And so one time I was like, you got to start doing Zoom. Black people like Zoom. This is one of those songs that people love. And he wouldn't do it. And he was like, really? You think I should do it? Yes. Because black people love Zoom. Well, he was at a concert last night in Philadelphia. And he didn't do it in Atlantic City, I think last year, but he did it last night. I screamed so loud. I said, that man said, because he kept saying how much he loved Philadelphia, and Philly was a big part of the Commodore's success. I guess he said, I'm going to have to hear him out. Let me do Zoom. Now, this was the funny part, because a lot of the white people in the audience, they didn't know what was going on. But you saw every black person swaying and screaming and singing. It was a funny moment. If you're saying, I'm not familiar with Zoom, Google it on YouTube. It's a great song. It's 6 minutes and look at me knowing the time. It's 6 minutes and 58, but it's a whole vibe. You put it on at the cookout, you're going to see your uncle in the corner. He may be drinking, reminiscing, and singing. It's that kind of song. But Lionel, thank you. I was screaming so loud. I'm kind of loud anyway. I didn't need another reason to be loud, but that was funny. Have a good one. Subscribe to the channel. The channel is growing. We are marching towards 70,000. I'm so grateful. Leave a comment. I'm still going through the comments from yesterday because they were off the chain. And give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Thanks for joining me. I'm Patty Jackson. I am your auntie of pop culture.